I'm Monique Polak. I'm a writer for children, and I was a longtime CEGEP teacher, and I have a very close connection to the project Looking Back for a Better Future. As you know, it's another brilliant Blue Metropolis educational program. This could become book 38. It's funded by Canadian Heritage, and I was lucky enough to be involved from the very beginning in the planning stages. Every morning I write 3 pages in a journal. I'm hooked on a journal.
I think this is about half of the completed journal stack that I have. Whoops. My name's Tara McGowan-Ross. I'm a writer, mostly a poet and nonfiction writer. I live in Montreal, and I'm also an avid journaler, and I've worked with children for a really long time. So this project is a really cool combination of all of those things. Looking Back for a Better Future is a intergenerational journaling and interview project with the aim of promoting literacy in language minority communities in Quebec. It's in 2 parts. The first part is that we introduce the concept of journaling to the younger generation. And then once they're comfortable doing that, we do a second part of the project in which they get a chance to hang out with and talk to and ask questions of elders in their community, basically, with the aim of allowing older generations to transfer knowledge about how to endure hardship to the younger generation.
The plan was to team up kids with seniors, teenagers and seniors, so that the seniors could learn their stories, and the kids would write journal entries about their visits to the seniors. We also taught a little bit of journal skills to the seniors, but the focus really was the kids' journal writing, and the real focus is the interviews.
Knowlton is wonderful. Knowlton is a really cute little town in the Eastern Townships. It just looks like something out of a little fairy tale. So the purpose of our first trip to Knowlton was to get the students in the classroom acquainted with the idea of the journaling project.
And then I'm gonna put 6 months.
I think about it as this 2-part process. The first part is about getting comfortable with expressing themselves and also with just recording the world around them in the journal that they have. And then the second part of the process is about learning how to be receptive to information in a face-to-face context. So they have their journals and they're going to translate that into writing in some way. And this will create a mental link and also teach them a particular skill so that if they can feel hopefully more comfortable doing things like asking for advice, asking for help, asking how other people get through particularly difficult situations. And that's the goal.
Okay, what do you remember about the place that you grew up?
Well, I grew up in several places.
My name's Melissa Mason. I work at Knowlton Academy. I'm the grade 7 English teacher, and I've been feeling very fortunate to be involved with this project and to have my students be involved in it.
That was another thing.
These fashion trends are so weird now.
That's another thing we used to do.
As a teacher, it's been a really great insight into my students and how they communicate with people outside of what we do in the classroom. I was surprised actually because I can have these thoughts about who my students are, and because we've never gone through something like this together where I've pushed them a little to do something different and outside their norm, I think I got surprised by some of the kids in my class and what they were actually capable of, and that even if they're more reserved in class, I could see that they were willing to push themselves to do more.
What's your favorite subject in school? That's a good one.
Sports. I hated school.
Some sort of takeaway, I think, is that I should give my students more credit, even if they're teenagers. I think we can all have our little opinions about how they are, but they are more willing and open than we think.
What do you like to do in your free time for fun?
Well, I was skiing quite a bit until the weather kind of crapped out on us this year.
So I'm William. I live in Knowlton, Quebec. We're here doing a project at the Knowlton Academy with the grade 7 students, which is just fantastic opportunity to liaise with the young folks. It's always interesting the perspective that we have, and then these these grade 7 students have a different outlook on things.
What are the most rewarding things about getting old?
having knowledge, having greater knowledge.
My name is Alexandra O'Rourke, and I live in Knowlton, and I've had a very varied life, so it's been a lot of fun to discuss with the kids. My life and where I've been and what I've done. I lived in Europe, in Ireland for 30 years, and then I came back to Canada. This project I think is fantastic. I think it's great to get the kids and the older people together. I'm actually writing an autobiography, and one of my main reasons for doing it is to share my life with my grandchildren. And this is the same sort of thing. You're sharing your words, you're sharing your life, your experiences, and it's so important for the young kids to realize this.
Oh wait, no, actually we didn't fully
I never did the answer.
I think it's really fascinating actually to learn about other people's stories, what they went through, their history, their experiences. It's crazy because everyone's different.
It was fun because we don't get to do it often, and you get to learn about what they've gone through and overcome, and you just get to meet them and make their day.
I love the effect that working with seniors has on young people. I think it makes them feel more connected to the world around them, more connected to their community. It really is a great opportunity to bring students outside of themselves a little bit.
We paired up students from program Mile End High School with seniors at the Ava Marsden Center, one of their programs that's offered at a church in Montreal West. And let me tell you a bit about the kids. Program Mile End, it's an alternative school. So these are kids who were not happy or didn't make it in the regular high school system, and they've come to this school where they're in smaller classes and they're getting, I guess, more individualized attention. As for the seniors, many of them told us that they attend the Ava Marsden program because they're lonely. When they came in, I don't think we could have clocked how many minutes it took for them to connect with the seniors because it happened so quickly. And I don't know, yesterday morning I was there and a couple of the kids were like looking kind of sleepy, and then suddenly they go, "Bill!" And I'm like, "Who's that?" It's their senior from whom they had met the week before. They were amazing.
I don't know what I was expecting, I really don't. They really enjoyed it. They were looking forward to coming this week. They were all so happy to actually be around teenagers. It really sort of makes us feel as though we're still young in the sense that we're not that different, The teenagers are dealing with their stuff, we're dealing with our things, and when we come together to discuss about, the state of affairs in the world today, we all have so much in common.
I was surprised at how many students were interested. And we have a lot of students who struggle with social anxiety. And yet, it was worth it to them to steel their nerves. I think we do our best learning in conversation with other people. And it's nice that the students have an opportunity to be chatting with people who they wouldn't encounter otherwise. And with the project being framed as a quest for learning about resilience, that maybe they've gotten to some of the deeper, tougher stuff to talk about. They were super excited after the first session, and they were happy to come back, and they were really happy to have a chance to continue to converse over food today. So it's a good sign.
Perhaps many older people feel isolated and less important in society, and who they got to tell their stories to. And really, our kids, our teens, have been a captive audience. And I think the students are learning a lot from life lessons from, I call it their, like in quotation marks, from their seniors.
I found the students really eager to listen and to talk as well, to share their thoughts on, what was going on. And overall, I would do it again.
So we flew from Montreal and we flew into Puffernutuk, which is the mouth of the Ungava Bay. And then we were supposed to get in another plane, but it's the Arctic. These planes are small, they go through a lot. It was not leaving that day, basically. So we ended up doing a little bit of, just a bunch of fandangling to get us in to the school in Pevensey instead. So the classroom was extremely well set up, lots of really great cool new tech. The teacher was extremely flexible and also really excited about the project.
My name's Taylor and I'm a teacher here in Pevensey. I teach secondary English to secondary 1 and 2 students. My students in particular are pretty dynamic. I knew some of the students, they have a lot going on in their lives and in their minds. A lot of them really identify with like pretty emotional songs and music. So I knew that would be a good outlet for some of the students.
So, everyone has a journal, right? Okay, fantastic. I spoke about journaling for about 30 minutes. And at the end of that time, I like to finish on a story about my favorite collection of journals, which is a collection of Sylvia Plath's journals from when she was in college. So what I thought was maybe a good opening was that we could all sit down and talk about something that we ate, like write about something that we ate. And imagine that maybe, 100, 200 years in the future, someone's reading our journal and very interested in what it was that we were eating. Maybe we can start off just doing one really quick thing. Do you want to open up your journals? And then we're going to start off, we're going to put the date. Every good journal entry has to have the date on it. They seem to work really well because this entire group of students who had been listening, but also been moving and talking and whatever, suddenly all sat down and they all took it really seriously. Everyone wrote at least, 5 to 10 sentences about something that they'd eaten recently and how it made them feel and what it made them think about. It was a really beautiful moment, everyone felt really engaged, and a lot of the faith that I had to just hold on to and have for the entire time that I was speaking really got to pay off. And this brings us to the other part of this whole section. So, do you know what the special thing is that we're gonna do tomorrow? After we were finished all writing together, I explained to the students that we were going to be meeting with elders the next day in order to interview them about their lives. The goal of this is we're gonna be able to talk to them a little bit, and we're going to ask them some questions about their lives. And it was interesting that the whole vibe of the classroom shifted again. This idea that they were going to get to speak to and interview people that they clearly had so much respect for was a very, really, really wonderful thing to get to see. And they suddenly were really looking forward to it. I had been told what to expect, basically, in the room when the elders arrived, but I wasn't really ready for it, It was kind of like having a celebrity show up or something, These two celebrities who everyone really respects and really admires. The students were obviously shy, but they also were brave, and they cared a lot about making the elders feel welcome and listened to. And so everyone took a turn, and one at a time they asked the questions.
If you could travel back in time and choose anything, what would it be?
The behavior whenever there are elders around is completely different from what the rest of us teachers are seeing in the classroom. So anytime there's an opportunity for them to listen to the stories or experiences of elders, that's definitely successful, and that's something they benefit from.
Kind of the activities make you the happiest now.
Atorsiornanik allagiornanik intitut uhagiornanik aliagijahpon.
We're just gonna ask.
And she
And she wants that to continue.
So as the elders were leaving and we were all eating bannock together, I was very impressed with the students. I was extremely impressed with how well they'd conducted themselves and how brave they'd been and how smart they'd been and what kind of interesting, probing questions they'd been able to ask, and also how well they'd been able to like listen to and absorb the information, because it got really real a few times in there. The thing that I think is really important to note about a lot of Indigenous culture, I know that this is true of the Inuit, and it's also true of the Mi'kmaq people as well, that there is a really big culture and practice of explaining things and telling stories and entertaining each other, especially across generations, but it all happens through your voice. So I think that getting Indigenous youth excited about getting to tell their own stories means that they're less likely to have their stories taken away from them or distorted in some other way. And it's important to me to be able to get students excited about speaking for themselves and also speaking for their own communities on their own terms, because there's been so much in the last 500 years where those rights and that freedom has been forcibly taken away from people.
Oh, I see it, it's right there. Okay, everybody let it land.
Second one. There we go. Look at that one. That's me.
You're famous.
This is always the hard thing about going and working with groups of youth, is that they're each so uniquely amazing and important, and I just never feel like I have enough time with them. I always want more time with them. My name's Tara, I'm a writer, I live in Montreal, and I have journals for you guys, and I'm wondering if, I have two separate setups inside, so I've written something inside, sorry, I wrote in your journal. Right now we're in Melina's secondary class, basically, and we're meeting up with the students right now, and then we're going to take our journals, ciao, and we're gonna walk over to a local English language community center and meet up with some seniors there in order to ask them our questions. Make sure that they're comfortable, so lots of like literally just being polite, smiling, asking, like not jumping straight into the really intense questions, but like asking like, what's your name, where are you from, etc., 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 how's your day, stuff like that, but also just like eye contact, smiling.
My name is Melina Ridley, and I'm a teacher at Noranda School in Rouyn-Noranda in Quebec, and I teach high school English primarily. Today we're here with some of my students from my secondary 3 English class, and they're interviewing local residents from the English community. And with that, afterwards they're going to create a journal with it, which I think is really fun because I like for them to have different creative ways of writing. This is fantastic on so many levels. So both the seniors and the students really enjoy it, getting a chance to speak and realize the connections that they have despite their age differences. And not just that they don't just have the English language in common, that they have similar experiences and they create connections with them. And I think it's a good technique to learn to interview people as well. Again, a real life application of these skills.
I find it really, honestly, entertaining because I like to learn about how they lived and stuff. Because like everybody's ancestors were interviewing different people and everybody's lives were very different. So I really like learning about how it was when they were younger and stuff.
I really enjoy doing this activity because it's fun to get to know other people and how things are different from back then versus now. Like the woman I'm interviewing, back when she was younger, she played things like kick the can with her friends, but now I'm playing online with my friends. And it's fun to be able to know how things are so different from just a couple of years ago to now.
It was so lovely. He's a very nice young man. Yes, we enjoyed each other, I think. It's fun. It brings us back to our childhood, you know.
It's so different. They don't realize what this place was like at the end of the war, 1940s, you know. My husband was an engineer, a mining engineer, and so he moved around a lot. And you see, it's all quite a change here, you know.
I think it's really good to do because then we can learn about the past, and it's a good thing to do so then we can, like, maybe when we're older we can do the same thing and share it on with younger people when we're the older people, you know, and it's just so we can teach them just like they're teaching us about their past.
The work with Herzliya High School was very special for me. My mom was a survivor of the Holocaust, and the kids from Herzliya, they were grade 10 English class, and they worked with seniors at the Cumming Center, but these were very special seniors because they're Holocaust survivors.
Hi, I'm Talia. We work at the Cumming Center.
I'm Sharianne, work at the Cumming Center in programming.
We run the Holocaust survivor group here, Cafe Europa. So the survivors are all connected with our social service department too. They receive some services for being Holocaust survivors.
And they meet every Tuesday between 9:30 and 12, and we offer cake and coffee and juice, and it's a chance for them to get together to see each other once a week and talk to each other and catch up.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Today's very, very special for us because you're here working with students, grade 10 students from Herzliya High School.
Thank you. The first time that we came, I honestly didn't know what to expect because, you know, taking the students out of the classroom, you don't know if the classroom is going to follow the students or not. And they were pensive, engaged, taking notes. There was a real connection between the students and the survivors that they were interviewing. And then the second time, I knew that they would come in because the connection had already been formed. And they just sort of slid right into an existing relationship.
I think they went through a lot, we know that. But to see how they overcome those things, this is a very teachful lesson. It shows us what everyone can experience in their lifetime. And even if for young individuals, it can give us a lesson about how to overcome struggles and overcome many things in life. I think it's very important, and it's very happy to hear that they are with us.
I think it's very inspirational for someone that has lived through war. Nowadays still thriving, you know. It's like we have no excuse to stop what we're doing, and we could only keep going, you know, especially when we're 16 years old, 15 years old. We have no excuse when we see people that are 99, you know, almost 100, that are, you know, moving every day, doing good things every day. We have no excuse. So.
Before we go any further, I can't see and I can't hear, so talk loud.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was very happy to see the teenagers. I have my own grandchildren, they're the same age, and they're very interested in hearing all the stories. It's very interesting. I enjoy very much talking to them. And they are sponges. They like to absorb everything and very interesting.
We won't have opportunities like this in a few years' time, so we really need to take as many opportunities as we can to have young people interact with people who can tell stories of what happened, the truth of the Holocaust, the realities, the terrible, horrific crimes against humanity that occurred to our people and to my students' people as well.
I'm trying to think of the right way to tell you how much this project meant to me. In a difficult period in terms of, world politics, climate change, it's like, I don't know, it's not easy to be young. And it seems to me that a big part of the solution is going to be connecting with others and having empathy for others, learning from other people, even if we don't see eye to eye with them, but being open to their stories. And this, for me, is what happened during this project.
I think that my main takeaway from all of this was that of all of the seniors that we spoke to especially, it didn't really seem to matter that much what their background was, where they came from. They had the same takeaway, which was that when things get hard, look for other people, look out for each other and ask for help and reach out and be as embedded in community as you possibly can. My other takeaway was just that there's so many things that people can survive and thrive through, especially if they're doing the work of reaching out to other people and being embedded in community, etc. And it really just made me think that there are lots of things that are unique about this day and age, but feeling like everything's falling apart is not one of them. Things have always felt like they're falling apart, and people find a way to figure it out and endure through it. And I think that's really amazing.
We saw both the young people benefiting and also the seniors benefiting, because they were energized by hanging out with the young people. And I think the young people were, energized in their own way, but certainly inspired by the seniors and entertained by the seniors. And they learned because the seniors shared their stories of their own struggles and how they managed to get through. And I think that's what made the magic for me. Kids lean in when they talk to the seniors. They want to hear the stories. They want to know what they went through. They want to learn from them in a way that they don't want to learn from their own teachers and their own parents. So there's something to me about sharing a story, being open to a story. It's like a beautiful circle. And in a period like we've so much trouble going on in the world, to me, being on this project this year has honestly given me incredible hope for the future. It's these kids, and if they can learn from the past, I think there's hope. If this generation can learn from the past, and we couldn't have come up with a better name, Looking Back for a Better Future.